Hola a todos. Sorry, actually, this class is supposed to be in English. So hello to everybody. Hi. Yeah, today's class. Today's class a bit different from the normal classes because today is going to be in English, only 100% English. Let me just fix my sound. The reason is that this class is level B1. It is intermediate level. Level B1 intermediate level. And this course I started last year, I think. Let's just check. So this is the, if you've been following my channel, you know that I started with level A1, which is the beginner course, which is in Spanish. That was a recorded course. And then I did, that was in 2016, 2017. And then I did level B2, which was, level A2, which is lower intermediate. That was in 2017, 2018. And then I did this, I started the level B1 course, which was, is this course here. This, I don't remember the date, 25th of October 2018 was the last class. So I was doing this last year in 2018 and I finished it. Or I didn't finish it. I got to class 18 and then I stopped doing it because I was working on building the membership of my channel. So what I was thinking of doing now, because really I've covered so many times the same subjects over and over again, which is level A1, level A2. I keep repeating the same subjects because those are the subjects of those levels and those classes have been in Spanish. So I think what I want to do now is continue with this class, with this course, the B1, and then move on to the next level, which is B2, upper intermediate, and possibly advanced. So I can actually, in the end, have a complete course on my YouTube channel from beginner to advanced. So the class is in English, and I said this before when I started this course. Why most of my viewers and subscribers to my channels are Spanish speakers. I think 99.9% are Spanish speakers. But if you get to this level, then we really shouldn't be using any Spanish in the class. Maybe I could use the odd word. So one reason is that I want people to think in English. Another reason is that I want the class to be available to non-Spanish speakers, you know, German speakers, French speakers, Russian speakers. And another reason is that it deters beginners. I mean, beginners are not going to understand this class. So they are not going to stay in the class. And that's good because it's not their level. If you're a beginner, you need to look at the A1 class. If you're lower intermediate, you need to look at the A2 course. So carrying on, these were all the subjects. Anybody who wants to review, who's been following this course, wants to review it, this is the playlist for this course here. I'm going to put that in the chat right now. And probably later on, I'll put it in the description. Yeah, I'm not getting the chat messages up here. I don't know what is the matter with YouTube a lot of the time. Oh, there it is there. Yeah, so we got a lot of people. We've already got a lot of people speaking in Spanish. We got Maria. Maria, you can join the channel. Sorry, you can join the class, Maria. Remember, because you're a member. Yeah, hi, Maria. I've got you in there
Hi,
now.
teacher. How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm very well.
What's your English
Um,
like? Are
and
you?
this moment, I'm going in the bags because I'm finished my job.
Oh, you're on the bus in New York
Yeah,
City.
yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, today the class is in English, Maria, because this is level B1 intermediate. Level B1 intermediate.
Okay.
So the theme, let's have a look in the chat. Who have we got in the chat?
Rear door.
Anybody who wants to, and the great thing is that in this class too, we have Maria on the bus in New York City, and they're actually speaking English on the bus. So that's great. So I just heard them
Yeah,
say something
something
about
I lost this time.
open the door or something.
Maybe wrong.
Yeah, I can just mute your sound. Okay, so what we want to do today is try and keep things in English. I don't want to use any Spanish. Some of the chat messages are in Spanish. We've also got Israel. Hi, Israel. How are you?
Hi, teacher. How are you?
Fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm
Today,
fine too.
what we're doing today, Israel, is we want to keep the class. Actually, I've got to stop that browser because it's messed up. Everything there is messed up. Let's start the class then. So the subject today is quantifiers. Quantifiers. So let's start the class with the quantifiers. So we should be able to see the screen now. Quantifiers. Close that. So the way I've arranged this, quantifiers, words we use to talk about quantities. So first of all, we're going to look at words that we use to talk about large quantities. So the first one, the most important one, is a lot of. Yeah, a lot of. Let's highlight that. I think a lot of. So here's an example. She has a lot of friends. Another example, a lot of money. Here's another example. We'll look at the rules in a minute. He runs a lot. So she has a lot of friends. They have a lot of money. He runs a lot. Notice this doesn't have an of here. This is a bit different, this one. Now let's look at some more examples. These are all positive. So when we talk about positive sentences, we can use a lot of, or alternatively, lots. A lot of or lots in positive sentences. And one common error that a lot of non-native speakers make is they try and say, I have many friends, for example. Maybe it's possible, but it's not really correct because we'll see in a minute, much and many are used in negatives and questions. Sometimes we can use them in positive, but if we want to talk about a large quantity in positive sentences, we need to use a lot of. There are other options that we'll look at in a minute, but a lot of is what we need to use in positive sentences. She has a lot of friends. They have a lot of money. An alternative is lots. Lots is the same but less formal. She has lots of friends. It's the same. She has a lot of friends. She has lots of friends. They have a lot of money. Sorry, well, it's the same as the one up. Sorry, they have lots of money. So a lot of or lots. Actually, I put lots of. Yeah. So we got two ways of talking about large quantities in positive sentences. We can say a lot of or lots of. A lot of, lots of. The only difference is that lots of is less formal. Now, if we want to talk about negatives, we need to use many or much. We use many with countable nouns. We use many countable nouns.
Many.
Yeah.
Many.
We use many with countable nouns.
Many restaurants.
And we use much with uncountable nouns. Sorry, actually here I don't have a negative. There aren't many restaurants near here. Let's give you an example. I don't have much money. So two negative sentences. Negative sentences. Let's move this. I can't move that now. Let's put that up there. Try and move this one out of the way. Yeah, I want to move that out of the way down there. Yeah, so if we're talking negatives, large quantity negatives, we need to use many for countable. So everybody should know what countable nouns. Countable nouns are things you can count. Countable nouns are things that you can count. So countable nouns, I can write it out there. Anything that you can have two of, like here we've got the example friend. You can make it plural. You can have friends, cars, yeah, students. All of these things are countable nouns. Everybody should know that at this level. So, and uncountable nouns are things like sugar, coffee, water. This is uncountable. You can't have plurals of these things. So basically, let's have a look in the chat a minute. We've got Cessa. Cessa, you are a member of the channel, so you can join the class. 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 Let's have a look. Somebody asked a question here. Somebody asked a question, but I can't see that question there. What's the difference between lots and lot of? I think was the question, but I can't see it now. Where did that question go? No, I can't see it. It disappeared. So basically, summarize what I've said so far. A lot of positive sentences or lots of large quantities. In negatives, many for countable nouns and much for uncountable nouns. So there aren't many restaurants. I don't have much money. We don't normally use many and much in positive sentences, only in negatives. Let's have a look. Do you eat much meat? Do you eat much meat? Again, questions. In questions, we need to use much for uncountable. Much is uncountable. Much is uncountable. So we need to, sorry, much is uncountable. Meat is uncountable. I'm a bit distracted because I'm trying to control a lot of things in the conference. Sorry, my brain is, money is uncountable. So much with uncountable. And I didn't give an example here of many, so let's put the example here. Do you have many friends? Do you have many friends? Do you have many friends? So basically, here are the rules down here. Use a lot where there, oh, I didn't touch on this subject either. This example here, here we're using he runs a lot. There is no noun in this sentence, it's just a verb. We can also do this with a lot to talk about an activity, So to summarize, use lots to talk about large quantities in positive sentences. We can use a lot when there is no noun, basically with a verb. He runs a lot. For negative sentences and questions, for large quantities, we need to use many, or for countable, and much for uncountable. There aren't many restaurants near here. I don't have much money. Do you eat much meat? Question. Do you have many friends? So here I have the rules. Many with countable nouns, much with uncountable nouns. Used in negative and questions. We can also use a lot of in negatives and questions. So it's also possible to say, do you have a lot of friends? Or do you have a lot of money? We can also say, we can also use lots there too. So lots and lot of, you can use in questions and negatives too. Use, well, another one we got here, plenty of in positive sentences to mean as much as we need and more. So no need to hurry. We have plenty of time. That's the example there. Plenty of time, plenty of time. Okay, let's have a look. Who's in the chat? Nobody. Have we got any questions in the conference? Israel. Hi, Israel. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Raul. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions, Nancy?
No, teacher, thank you.
What about you, Raul? How are you?
I'm fine.
Do you have any questions about this? Okay, very good. Let's carry on then. I've got two other ones here. Loads of and heaps of are more colloquial, very informal English, but we can use those to replace a lot of. For example, we can say, do you have a lot of friends? Sorry, let's put it in the positive. She has loads of friends. We could also say, she has, I've already done loads of there. Heaps of is another one. Heaps of. Or she has loads of, probably that one is more common. Loads of friends. This is like informal English, very informal English. So that thing covers all the quantifiers to talk about large quantities. I think the most important thing to remember here is if you're talking positive, a lot of. If you're talking in negatives, much for uncountable, and many for countable in negatives and questions. Let's carry on now talking about small quantities. Small quantities. So talking about small quantities, I've got the examples. Let me read the examples first. I have a little money. I have few friends. I have little money. I have few friends. This should be without the And you might be wondering, what is the difference between these ones? In a minute, I'll explain. I have very little time. I have very few friends. So we can talk about small quantities in positive sentences. We need to use a little for countable nouns and a few for, sorry, I got that the wrong way around. We need to use a little for uncountable nouns and a few for countable nouns. I have a little money. I have a few friends. We've also got these down here. I have little money. Notice the difference here is that this one has the And there's a difference. Because if we say I have a little money, I put it down here. If we say it with the it's like it's a positive feeling, I have some. I have some. But if we don't have the a, it's like a negative. It's like not many. So there's a difference between saying I have a little money and I have little money. There is a difference between these two. The first one with the a means some, and this one is like saying not many. And it's the same with a few. Remember, few is used with countable. It's the same. There's a difference in the feeling of saying I have a few friends means I have some friends. But if I say I have few friends, it means I don't have many friends. So it could be the same number, but the feeling is different. What else have we got? We can also add very little. We can add very to the front of little and few. It's like saying a very small amount. I have very little time. I have very few friends. And some colloquial expressions that we use to talk about small quantities. All of these phrases here are for small quantities. Remember, the previous ones were for large quantities. A bit of, a bit, or a little bit. So you can say, I have a bit of money. You can't use this with counters. You can't say I have this is with uncountable. Yeah, have a bit of money means it's the same as saying a little money, but it's more colloquial. Okay, so we can also say I have a little bit of money. Again, it's colloquial. And it means a very small amount. So these are the ones that we can use to talk about small quantities in positive sentences. If we're going to talk about small quantities in negatives, then we need to use the ones we saw here. I don't have much money, because it's a large quantity. Negative equals a small quantity. And also in the questions, we're going to use much and many again. We can't use these in questions or negatives. So let's carry on then with the next one, talking about zero quantity. Zero quantity. Zero quantity. To talk about zero quantity, we're going to use this. There isn't any sugar left, or there's no sugar left. If we're going to do countable nouns, we would say he hasn't got, for example, or maybe it's better to say, use it like this and say, he doesn't have any friends. So any we can use with countable or uncountable. The other way we could say it was he has no friends. So to talk about zero quantity, we can use any in negative sentences or no in positive sentences. Use any for zero quantities with a negative verb. So here we've got the verb be in the negative. And here we've got the verb be in the positive. When we have the verb be in the positive, they mean the same thing. There isn't any sugar left. There's no sugar left. It means the same thing, but here we're using a negative verb with the word any, and here we're using a positive verb with the verb no. So if anyone's got any questions, have you got any questions, Nancy or Raul? Do you have any questions?
Yes.
What's your question, Raul?
En la pantalla anterior.
Okay, in the previous screen, on the
Yes.
previous screen.
I have a little money. The sentence is positive, and I have little money is negative.
Yeah, I mean, it's the feeling. it's como, I don't really want to use Spanish, but using Spanish,
Yes.
I have a little money is tengo algo de dinero.
Sí.
And I have little money is que tengo muy poco de dinero.
Okay. Está
It's,
perfecto.
it's a feeling. I'm trying not to use Spanish, but I don't know how. It's the feeling. It's not the quantity. It's the feeling. This one is a positive feeling.
Yes.
Like saying I have some, and this one is a negative feeling.
Uh-huh.
I don't have much. Could be the same number, and it's the same with a few and few, but this one is for countable. So the difference really is in the feeling, not the actual quantity, not the number. So back to the zero. I think we covered the zero. Oh, I didn't do this. None in questions. In questions, we're going to say how much, or if it's countable, we're going to say how many friends do you have?
Yeah.
And if it's zero, we're going to say none. Yeah.
Okay.
So this word is used as the answer to questions. How much money do you have? None. How many friends do you have? None.
The same, nothing.
The same. Well, nothing. No, nothing is another word. We're not going to say, do you have how much money do you have? Nothing. No, we're not going to say that. We're going to say none.
None. Okay.
In answers to these questions. Let's have a look. We got Beatrice says, time is countable or uncountable? Time is uncountable. Well, actually, time is a word that could be both. Normally, time, if we're talking about time, the passing of time, it's uncountable. But there's another meaning of time. For example, do you have time? In that question, time is uncountable. It's uncountable. Some words could be countable or uncountable, depending on the use. So here, I don't want to use Spanish, but here the translation would be tiempo. But another use of the word time in English would be, how many times have you been to, I don't know, to Europe? In this sentence, the translation of time in Spanish is veces, cuántas veces. So here, this is countable because you can say, I've been to Europe 3 times. So if we're talking about time, hours, minutes, and seconds, hours, minutes, and seconds obviously are countable. But if you're talking about veces in Spanish, then it's countable. So that's the answer to that question. Let's continue. What's next? What about talking about more than you want? Here we've got some more quantifiers. I don't like his car. It's too big. In this case, we're using too with an adjective to say that this car has too much of this quality. It's too big, it's too small, it's too expensive. If we want to talk about more than you want of a countable noun or an uncountable noun, let's start with an uncountable noun. We use too much traffic. And if we want to talk about an uncountable noun, we use too many. When you've got too many of something, when there's more than you want of something or more than you like, we can say too many. So I don't like his car. It's too big. There's too much traffic in this city and there are too many tourists. So too with double O plus an adjective, too much plus an uncountable noun, too many plus a countable noun. What about if there is not enough, the opposite, less than you want? We need to use this expression. There aren't enough. There aren't enough restaurants. If it's singular or uncountable, there isn't enough time. So if it's less than you want, we're going to use aren't enough or isn't enough. So what we can do now is, let's just repeat these. I don't like his car, it's too big. There's too much traffic in this city and there are too many tourists. There aren't enough restaurants. There isn't enough time. So let's have a look. Who have we got in? Well, have you got any questions? We've only got Raul left. I don't know what happened to the others. Maybe they don't like the English. Have you got any questions, Raul?
No, teacher.
Let's carry on then with the next one. Some and any. Two more quantifiers. So I have some money. I have some friends. And in negatives and questions, we don't normally use some. These are positive statements with some. In negatives and questions, we need to use any again. Do you have any money? And negative, I don't have any money. Do you have any friends? I don't have any friends. We have some coffee, but we don't have any sugar. Some in positive, any in negatives and questions. A last quantifier I think that I've got before I got some questions. Yeah, there's questions. Every single car was red. So we can use every, and we can emphasize, not necessarily the single. We could just say every car was red. It's like saying all the cars were red. So every single car was red. Every single child had, I don't know, a cell phone. It's like saying all the children had cell phones. So notice here that when I say all the children had cell phones, this is plural, and this is singular. Every child. The single here is optional. So I think that's the last quantifier we're going to look at today. Let's carry on now. I've got some questions for Israel and Raul. So here we've got like a table. I want to put in this table the words that I've got up there. Let's put that bigger. So up here I've got some expressions. Which ones are used to talk about large quantities? Which ones are used to talk about small quantities? Which ones are used to talk about less than you want? Which ones are used to talk about more than you want? So I think we've got Raul in there at the moment. There was a lot of noise from Israel. Let's have a look, see if he's got a lot of noise there. Hi.
Okay.
So this one here is wrong. It should be spends.
Large quantity.
So the first one is he spends too much time. So where's that going to go? Is that large quantity, small quantity, less than you want, or more than you want? Too much time.
More than you want.
Very good. Yeah, if we say too much, it means more than you want. You don't want so much time, or you don't want him to spend so much time. So this one's going to go there. Too much time. There weren't any parking spaces. Weren't any parking spaces. Large quantity, small quantity, less than you want, more than you want, or zero.
Less than?
No.
No.
No. Anyone in the chat? What about Israel? Are you there, Israel? Are you there, Israel? Has anyone in the chat? Yeah, Anna, Scala, Iama say 0. Very good. Yeah, this is 0 quantity. There weren't any, yeah, with a negative verb, with any parking spaces. So we're going to put that down there. That means there were none. 0 parking spaces. So that didn't work because it doesn't work like that. Hold on. It doesn't work like that. You can't copy into that. That's it. Yeah, 0. What's the next one? The next one is, I think that's still in a...
Too fast.
People drive too fast. Too fast. Where's that going to go?
More than you want.
Yeah, more than you want. Yeah, this time we got 2 with an adjective. Too fast. Too fast. Good. The next one is we don't have enough people. We don't have enough people. We don't have enough people. Where's that going to go? Large quantity, small quantity, less than you want, or more than you want, or 0?
No
Any ideas?
I don't know.
Anyone in the chat? This one here, let's give this we don't have enough people. We don't have enough people. Less than you want. Yeah, less than you want. Very good. Yeah. We don't have enough. You don't have enough.
I don't remember less than you want.
Yeah, less than you want. Well, let's go back and just check that. I mean, I think it was on this one here. This one here. Less than you want. There aren't enough. There isn't enough. Yeah.
Okay.
So this one was, we don't have enough. Okay, good. What's the next one? We had a little money left. We had a little money left.
Small quantities.
A small quantity. Yeah, very good. A small quantity. Small quantity. Very few computers have a fast processor. Maybe I should change that. Very few computers have 32 gigabytes of RAMs.
Less than you want?
No. Few computers.
Israel.
Sorry?
No, capaz el compañero decía.
Oh, okay. Israel.
Israel, yeah.
Anybody got the answer?
Small quantity.
Oh, I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm working.
Small, yeah, few computers is a small quantity.
Yes. Because I trained gigabytes.
Yeah. The weekend isn't long enough. Isn't long enough. Long enough. Here we got an adjective plus enough. The weekend isn't long enough. Isn't long enough.
Less than you want?
Less than you want. Very good. Yeah. I'm going to put that one there. Less than you want. The weekend isn't long enough. Lots of people cycle to work in Denmark. Maybe I should put that the other way around. Lots of people cycle to work in Denmark. Lots of people in Denmark. I think it sounds better like that. Cycle to work. Lots of people in Denmark cycle to work. Cycle to work means they ride bicycles. Lots of people in Denmark cycle to work. So lots of people. Lots of people. Lots of people. Where does that one go? Anybody tell me?
Israel.
Large, small, less than you want, more than you want, zero. Lots of people.
Large quantity.
A large quantity. Very good. Yeah, a large quantity. Finally, we've got, there were many people. This is wrong, actually. I think here I wanted to put two. Oh, what one's missing? Yeah, I've done this one wrong, actually. There were, oh, sorry, it's a question. Sorry, yeah. Were there, is correct, yeah. Were there many people at the party? Were there many people at the party? Were there many people at the party?
More than you want?
No.
Si consideran
Anybody in the chat? Many. Where does it go? Large quantity, small quantity, less than you want, more than you want, zero.
Many negative countable.
Yeah, but here, what are we? It's actually a question.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's countable, but what does it mean? Many people? Does it mean there was a large quantity, a small quantity, less than we wanted, more than we wanted, or zero quantity? If you say were there many people at the party? It refers to
large quantity.
Yeah, large. You also got Brenda and Beatrice say large. Very good. Oh, that's the wrong one now. There's lots of people. Should be many people. So yeah, remember in positives we say lots of people. In questions and negatives we say many people.
Mm-hmm.
So let's carry on here. And these ones we've got two choices. Two choices. There are too much or too many people in the class. Which one is correct? Which one is correct? Too much or too many?
Too many.
Yeah, very good, because with countable, people is countable, it's the plural of person. So in English, the plural of person, one person, the plural is two people. A lot of people like to say two persons. It also exists in English, two persons, but is a lot less commonly used. Spanish speakers like to say two persons because it's like Spanish, dos personas. But in native speakers normally say two people. And we can only use persons when there's an exact number. We can't say there were many persons. We can only say there were many people. There were, it's wrong anyway, because we say a lot of people. A lot of people is correct, but there were a lot of persons is incorrect. This one is incorrect. Let's make it red so people know. This is a very common error with Spanish speakers to say persons instead of people. We can only use persons when we have an exact number, like this here. There were two persons in the room, but it's much more common for native speakers to say there were two people. This is much more common. So anyway, let's carry on with number 2. Nobody likes him. He has very little friends, or he has very few friends. Very little friends or very few friends. Which one is correct?
Very few.
Yeah, very few. If we say he has very little friends, it means his friends are very little. Yeah, his friends are very little. Here we don't want to say that. He has very little, or he has a very little friend. Tiene un amigo pequeño. So we don't want to say that. We want to say has very few friends. In Spanish, it's muy pocos. He has very few friends. We've had a lot of sunshine recently. We've had lots of sunshine recently. Which one is correct?
A lot of.
A lot of. In this case, actually, both of these are correct. Both of them are correct.
Both?
Yeah,
Okay.
the difference is that lots of is less formal. Both are correct. Next one. There aren't enough restaurants. There aren't restaurants enough in this town. Which one is
Enough
correct?
restaurants.
Very good. Yeah, enough restaurants. There aren't enough restaurants. Good. I have no time. I have any time. Which one is
No time.
correct? Yeah, I have no time because remember we use no with a positive verb. So the other way of saying this is to say I don't have any time. These two mean the same thing. Now they mean the same thing. He works a lot. He works much. 12 hours a day. He works
A
a
lot.
lot, much. Yeah, because it's a positive sentence, so we need to use much.
A lot of.
Do you speak Spanish? Yes, a little, or yes, a few. A little or
Yes, a few.
Few.
No,
No,
remember.
no, little.
Yeah,
Little
yes, a
is
little.
uncountable.
Yeah, yes, a little. So the rule here is that he runs a little is with a verb. Actually, there is no noun here. Do you speak Spanish? Oh well, I speak a little Spanish. Yeah, Spanish is the noun. Yeah, a little Spanish. I don't have no time, or I don't have any time. Which one is correct? To see my
Both?
kids.
I don't have any time.
I don't have any time. Yeah, remember, no is used with a positive. So we say, I don't have any time, or I have no time to see my kids. Any in with a negative verb and no with a positive verb. Okay, very good. And with that, I think we've finished this class. So
Thank
thanks
you.
to Nancy and Raul. Probably I'm going to continue, I think, with this level course in English because, like I said at the beginning, I've covered so many times all the beginner level subjects, you know, the verb be, the present simple, the present continuous, the present perfect, the past simple, the future simple, all the subjects really that are at level A1 and level A2 have been covered on my channel now so many times that I just keep repeating the same subjects. So I want to introduce some other subjects. I mean, even this subject has been done before, but maybe not at this level. So I think I'm going to carry on with this B1 level, which is intermediate. I think it's nearly finished actually, the B1. And then I will do the B2 level, which is upper intermediate, which is quite advanced. So thanks to Nancy and Raul.
Thank you, teacher.
Thanks to Israel was there, but he's gone, and also Maria.
He's working.
Okay. Thanks to Raquel, Nubia, Beatrice, Scala, Irma in the chat. And see you again, I think, on Thursday with another class. Goodbye.
Bye, teacher.